If you're a real estate agent who wants to get more sales and increase your close rate, then keep watching. In this video, you'll learn how to use the brain's biases to your advantage and avoid the biases which can prevent you from getting that big, fat commission check. But remember, as a real estate agent, you're helping people make the most important purchase they will ever make in their entire lives. It's a very emotional event. Don't use any scammy tactics or hard selling techniques because you need to protect your reputation. You are a personal brand. Damaging that brand would be like dropping a 10-ton nuke on your lead generation. And we all know that no leads equals no money. So stay ethical and professional. Anchoring bias. The anchoring bias happens when people rely too heavily on the first piece of information they receive when making a decision. The first thing they hear or see sets the tone for the rest of their decision-making process. With the knowledge of this bias, you might want to consider having the first house that you show your client be a property that is clearly overpriced for that specific market. The client will then be fixed onto the extremely high price of that first house, and they will perceive the rest of the properties that you show to be much better deals, as they truly are anyway. You've just suggested their expectations of what the market rate is and reduced their pricing uncertainty. With this strategy, you can quickly filter out clients who aren't ready to pay the market price or speed up the process for properly valued clients who now have no doubt that they will be paying a reasonable price for that market. Confirmation bias. The confirmation bias occurs when people search for, interpret, and remember information that confirms their pre-existing beliefs. Let's say a particular client only wants to buy a house in a specific neighborhood or area of town because they heard about it from friends. Clearly, this part of town is not perfect, but you would be a fool to highlight any negative aspects. Instead, lean into the positives that the client already knows about and hype them up with confident statements of agreement. The client is not a dummy. They will do their own research and evaluate the negatives themselves, and do the internal factors on if the positives outweigh the negatives. Your job is to simply not get in the way of the sale. Never commit the crime of a double negative. And that way, we mean bringing up the negative thing when it wasn't even part of the conversation to strike one. Then, the fact that the thing you brought up is a negative that could lose you the sale, that's strike two. The client most likely wasn't even thinking about that negative aspect until you brought it up. Handle the objections when the client brings them up. Don't bring them up yourself. Loss aversion and the endowment effect. People tend to prefer avoiding losses rather than acquiring equivalent gains. This is because the pain of losing something is psychologically more powerful than the pleasure of gaining something new. With the endowment effect, people will have an emotional attachment to the property they own and value it higher than the market value of a property with the same exact characteristics. Think about how when a seller puts their price way above the market rate, and then you have to tell them to bring it down. In their mind, they feel like they are actually losing money by doing that, even though in real life, if they keep the price that high, they will end up giving $0. It's best to be empathetic with their emotional attachment to the property and explain this psychological bias to the seller. This way, they can recognize the fallacy they are making if they allow their brain to convince them that they are losing money by lowering the price. when there is absolutely no guarantee that the property would get sold at that highly overpriced number. Bandwagon effect. The bandwagon effect is when people do something just because others are doing it, regardless of their own true beliefs. Say a part of your town is being gentrified, and a couple who are relocating from another state are your clients. It would be wise for you to show them properties in the up-and-coming part of town and mention that everyone is looking for a spot in this area. Or in general, for any property in any part of town, mention that multiple people are looking to buy the property. This will speed up the client's decision-making process on the property. They will either push to go forward with the purchase or become discouraged and stripe that property off their list, freeing up time to look at other properties. Essentially, anything that shows social proof can create a sense of urgency and competition, which are powerful drivers in the decision-making process. Highlighting that a property is in high demand not only leverages the bandwagon effect, but also positions you as a knowledgeable agent who's in tune with market trends. This tactic can help you close deals faster by making clients feel they need to act quickly to secure their ideal home before someone else does. The key is to keep the momentum going. Once they show interest, be ready to guide them through next steps swiftly, ensuring that their excitement translates into a successful sale. The sunk cost fallacy. The sunk cost fallacy happens when people continue an endeavor due to the time, money, or effort already invested, rather than on current costs and benefits. Let's say you've been showing a client multiple listings for some weeks. Those weeks turn into months, and you start to see a pattern. The client has enough buying power to get one of the properties you show them. However, they refuse to go forward on anything due to some small feature of the houses. As a realtor, your most valuable resource is your time. This business requires you to drive miles throughout town or between towns in order to meet different clients and show multiple properties. If a client seems to be dismissive of what you show them and you've already spent more than 6 months with them, it's time to consider asking them to find another agent. Once a deal is initiated, it typically closes within 2 and 6 months. So you can't be wasting time with the tire kicker. This is your money on the line. It's your life, so grab it forcefully and loudly demand what you want from it. Politely but firmly, tell them you have to move on. Framing effect. The way information is presented can significantly impact decisions and judgments, and this is especially true in real estate. When discussing the price of a property, how you frame the conversation can make all the difference between a client seeing the cost as a prohibitive expense or a strategic investment. For example, instead of simply stating that the property is expensive, shift the focus to the value it represents. Highlight how the property is located in a desirable, up-and-coming neighborhood with amenities and features that are highly sought after. Emphasize the potential for appreciation and value over time, positioning the property not just as a home, but as a smart financial move that will pay off in the long run. You can also compare the property to others in the area, showing how it offers better value for money, either through superior quality, location, or potential growth. This way, the client sees the price as justified and reasonable rather than as a hurdle. By framing the price positively, you shift the client's perspective, helping them see the purchase as a wise and forward-thinking decision. This approach not only increases the likelihood of a sale, but also builds trust and reinforces your role as a knowledgeable and strategic advisor in their home buying journey. Closing summary. To boost your sales and close more deals, it's all about playing smart with cognitive biases. Start by using the anchoring bias. Show a price your property first to make the others look like better deals. Tap into confirmation bias by sticking to the positive impressions your clients already believe about the neighborhood and steering clear of any negative ones. When it comes to sellers who overvalue their home because they're emotionally attached, approach them with empathy. Help them see the real market value. Use the bandwagon effect to your advantage by emphasizing high demand, creating that sense of urgency that makes clients act fast. And don't get caught up with tire-kicking clients who can't make up their minds. Recognize the sunk cost fallacy and know when it's time to move on. Finally, frame property prices as smart investments in hot areas with great upside potential, so clients see the value in what they're buying. These strategies can help you close deals quicker, improve your client satisfaction, and maximize your commissions.
Subscribe, like, and hit the notification button for more videos on how to stop your brain from making bad decisions.